feel like I think this every day, Sarah, and I never mention it because we're so scripted off the top, but is there anything better than one, being in non-scripted format here and there, which I am right now off the top, and two, people greeting each other in the live chat during our 2-minute countdown met through the live chat. I love that community aspect of it. And when people are greeting each other, saying good morning, good afternoon, schedule release week, so on and so forth, it's contagious. We see it, we love it, and welcome inside the channel. How you doing?
I'm doing well. We've got a ton of content, for May on a Tuesday. Still looking forward to the schedule release tomorrow night, but so much to get to today.
Yeah, for sure. And we'll begin with Leonte Wester. Not exactly probably the guy that we thought we might be leading with, but when Todd McShay gets on his podcast and sings his praises in terms of the potential that he has to find a role, find his footing in an area outside of return specialist work in Baltimore, yeah, we're going to have to cover that. So that and a whole lot more is what we have coming up. We'll begin with him. By the way, he is the 6th-round rookie out of Colorado who transferred from Florida Atlantic. From there, you have been preparing this Lamar Jackson dual threat quarterback list and taking it to task for a while now, and we just had so much content that we decided to push it. So that'll be coming up. We'll also talk about the schedule release coming up in just a minute as well, because tomorrow night it all is started. I should say it got started on Monday because you know the way the league builds this thing up. There are teases that are out there. There are already unveilings of different levels of the schedule. The international games have been released as well. So the entire schedule we'll know coming up tomorrow, and you and I will be live, of course, for our 3rd annual schedule release live stream party. Would love for you guys to join us. You can click on the link right now that's included in the live chat as a pinned comment to be eligible for a Fanatics $100 gift card to be used directly in Baltimore's team store. So go check that out if you haven't already, Sarah. But you know the way they do this. We now know every single international game, and for the first time, well, this is the 2nd consecutive year that they will not have to travel internationally. Ravens will not be going abroad this year.
Wait a minute. They didn't go last year?
It's been since 2023.
Oh, man, it feels like last year that you were out there with your whole crew. Yeah, that's crazy. I've lost track of time clearly, but yeah, the NFL, we know who the international games are, and none of them were with the Ravens. There may have been some chances, right? Because the Browns and Steelers are going to play. Steelers week 4 in Ireland, Browns week 5 in London. Those will be back-to-back games for the Vikings out there. So I'm sure they'll just stay in the area for those 2 weeks. Chargers and Chiefs are going to be in Brazil week 1. And Jets versus Broncos in London week 6. And then Jaguars, Rams week 7. And then finally Colts versus Falcons in Germany. Actually, not finally. This one's the final one. Dolphins versus Commanders. And Bobby, I know that was the one. That was the one you wanted. The Ravens do play the Dolphins this year. You would have loved to gone back to your old stomping grounds when you did study abroad out there, but it is not to be, sir. I saw you on Twitter saying you were punching air. I thought you might crash out today live on air.
I thought about it, but I've composed myself since the release came down. Yeah, there were a couple different avenues I thought could be possible for the Ravens going international. That was certainly one of them. And to your point, having studied abroad at Loyola in Madrid, that would have been a fun homecoming. I have been back since. It wouldn't be my first time back since. My middle brother ended up studying there a couple of years ago and actually spent a bye week over there. But anywho, this is probably a good thing, I think, for much of the fan base, just from a wear and tear perspective and the travel that's involved and the transition, time zones, you name it. It's probably a good thing that they're not on this list. And I will admit, selfishly, I wanted it for travel purposes. Speaking of travel, here is, again, this is the buildup, right? They start to every single day, there's a little something. They throw a little nugget at you ahead of tomorrow night's official release. And this year, in terms of miles traveled, the Ravens are the 3rd least with 10,647. Look at the Chargers, for example. They're at the top of this list in comparison at over 37,000. So, again, we have the opponents, both in terms of who they will host and who they will travel to. We'll have the dates and the corresponding times coming up tomorrow night, partner.
West Coast teams always have the most because they're so spread out over there. East Coast teams, very much more compact. And then also, if you're not going international, that definitely puts you towards the bottom of the list. So no surprise that these East Coast teams, Baltimore, Buffalo, Cincinnati, kind of Midwest, don't have to travel too much. And Bobby, we did find out that we got one Christmas game that we know of. And that will be the Thursday night Christmas game will be the Kansas City Chiefs versus their division rivals against the Denver Broncos. Now, originally when I saw this come out, I was like, oh, sweet. For the first time in 2 years, the Ravens won't be on Christmas, but not so fast. I'm pretty sure they had 2 on Christmas Day last year. I would like a break from the Christmas Day games, especially because I know they got the 8 p.m. game. Like, if you have to go on Christmas, I want that late game so you can spend the whole day with kids and family and all that kind of stuff. So I do not want another Christmas. Let the players be with their families on Christmas Day.
I couldn't agree more. Mrs. EDC weighing in with a similar sentiment as well. Lacey just said all she wants for Christmas is to not play on that game.
Yeah.
And then to your point, 2 years ago, the Ravens traveled on that night and had that 8:15 slot. And then last year, as we all remember in Houston, it was the 4:00 slot, which is the worst. That's the worst you could possibly have.
Well, I guess
Because think about it.
If you did like a 1 p.m. game, that would even be worse.
Well, think about it, though. Yeah. We could still be wrapped up for a Christmas evening if we really kind of kicked it into high gear with a 1:00 game. 4:00, the night's over. The games, I'm doing pregame coverage, prior to that. I mean, there is no perfect recipe for a Christmas game, let's be honest. Yeah. But I think it'll be a welcome sight if instead, how about this instead? How about instead you take Green Bay? If you have to have one of the 2 holidays, like you expect the Ravens, if they're not going to go international and they're going to be maxed out prime time, like we expect them to with Lamar.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Then why not trade off maybe a Thanksgiving in Green Bay to not have to play on Christmas?
I guess.
It's not a perfect formula.
You seem like you've been abused, that you're like now ready to give up your Thanksgiving just to get your Christmas back. I would like both, please and thank you.
I feel like we have been abused by the NFL in a number of ways. But yeah, from a schedule release standpoint, we know they want Lamar in that limelight. And I would not be surprised if you and I end up having to be in a situation working one of the 2 holidays coming up.
But how about this, Bobby? How about a couple Sunday night games on NBC? Because check this out, NBC Sports put out the best Sunday night football win percentage of all time. Ravens, number 1. 67% of their games on Sunday night they have won, which is a big jump from number 2, which is Green Bay. So let's do Green Bay Ravens Sunday night. How about that? How about that instead of Thanksgiving?
Okay. Oh, believe me. I'm taking that too. I'm like trained over here, at this point to just expect it. But yeah, Sunday night primetime games, particularly primetime home games under Harbaugh in the Lamar era, they've been exceptional. And of course, this graphic suggests exactly that, states exactly that.
Lamar in primetime is in the regular season, Lamar in primetime has been sensational.
Yeah,
I can recall a couple of Jackson 5s in primetime.
The one that comes to mind more than anything else for me is Joe Tessitore on the call, Monday Night Football, Lamar's first full season as a starter, which of course ended up becoming his MVP year. They got the purple. Oh gosh, what's the name of the jerseys again? I can't remember.
Purple Rising.
Well, the Purple Rising just came out within the last year or so. This dates back to 19. And the Jackson 5 call, to your point there, Monday night, they slammed the Rams. I mean, they just rocked the LA Rams in front of a primetime audience. Lamar was in his bag. Definitely Tyler Huntley saw part of the fourth quarter of that game, or whoever was. I guess Snoop hadn't even come into the league yet, so maybe Trace was the backup. Who the heck was the backup in 19? RG3?
Probably.
Anyway.
Yes, yeah. Color Rush uniforms. It's just that they combine it with the Purple Rising helmet this year, but it's been the purple. Yeah, the color rush purple.
Optimistic O's fan was the first. D-Wiz then followed. Demetrius and Rafik and everybody all in on it. Appreciate you guys for having our backs there. Man, we've already got 7 super chats. Do we dive into the content or hit some of those?
You know it's all on the schedule. Then we'll go into Lejonte. We'll go to Lejonte after that.
Perfect. Tim Hughes became a member with us yesterday. We appreciate your channel membership, Tim. And Romy has been exactly that for 1 month. So congratulations, Romy Raven, celebrating 1 month of Voltron channel membership, Sarah. She's tuning in from Germany.
Sitting here in sunny Germany, she says, in the shade of our local castle. Can I come join in sunny Germany in the shade of a local castle? Listening to the vault? I guess technically I am joining because the vault is blasting there in Germany next to a castle. Just trying to envision that right now. Nothing better. Sarah, that shirt makes your eyes sparkle. Well, thank you.
I think I'm sparkling knowing that we have Romy Raven, who is sitting in continental Europe right now, listening to the vault for all to hear.
Yeah.
That fires me right up.
I love that.
Thanks, Romy. Mel writes, Bobby, I'm so excited for your move to St. Pete. Used to live downtown on Central, which is just so happens. Mel, how about this? Coincidence here. That's where I'm going to be living, right off of Central Ave.
Oh, wow.
Used to live downtown on Central before moving elsewhere in the, gosh, I don't even know how to pronounce this one. And I've been seeing it all over my dating app because I've had it in St. Pete the last few weeks. Pinellas is the Spanish way to pronounce it, you would think, but let's go with Pinellas. Moving elsewhere in Pinellas to have my kid. If you need anything, reach out. Everyone needs a village. Get a bike. Thank you, Mel. Appreciate that. Hope to run into you down there. It's super cool. Dreams.
Bobby will take you up on stuff like that. Bobby's doesn't know a stranger. Like he'll be like, oh, you want me to reach out if I need help? Yes, I will.
And I'll add this on real quick. I have not yet reached out to the Tampa Bay Ravens flock, but I know there is a legitimate group down there because they used to reach out to me on Facebook. And my plan is to do so. And maybe, just maybe, there's ways to collaborate during the season. So be on the lookout for that. Mel, I would love for you to email me. Shoot me a note. Instagram, DM, whatever. Let's chat. Dreams.
The Boston Celtics are the Baltimore Ravens of the NBA. Oh, I saw that injury last night. Achilles. Don't mess with Achilles.
Soon to be. We'll see. It hasn't been diagnosed yet, but it sure looked like.
Right. And I probably shouldn't. But from the one highlight I saw, that's Dr. Sarah Ellison's diagnosis. Playing a doctor here inside the vault. Only person that can beat them is themselves, and they always find a way to beat themselves. And I'm a fan of both. Prayers to Tatum, though. Tatum's the one who was injured.
He was having a legacy-defining kind of game for them. Finished with 42 points, bunch of assists, 3 or 4 steals. I mean, it was. I don't know how the ultimate outcome of what would have. If the ultimate outcome of that game last night would have changed had he not gone down, but man, it's a bummer for Celtics fans for sure. Mel writes, Sarah, glad I was able to get some clarification for you after tweeting to KVN. Oh,
was that Mel?
Super awesome.
Oh, okay.
That's Mel. We're putting 2 and 2 together now.
Yeah.
We should all tag him to come on the show. LOL. I try to promote the podcast every chance I get. Much love to both of you.
Oh, that was nice. Yeah. So Mel's name on Twitter was just MD. So I didn't connect the two. But yeah, we could like blitz KVN. I don't know. That dude's on like NFL Live. He gets on the Pat McAfee show. I mean, I don't know. Would he big time us? I guess if enough people tagged him, maybe
Kyle's
he would
tough.
do it.
Kyle's tough to track down. Great dude, fun guy, resurgent couple of years here in Baltimore.
You've tried a couple times, I know. Yeah.
Tough to track down. Mel, we appreciate all the help we can get. So thank you for doing your part. If you guys want to tweet at KVN, we ain't going to stop you. Manny checking in. Bobby, I bet you $5 that A-Rod will not play this season.
Ooh, you going to take that on? You going to take that?
Sure,
Between
man.
the Steelers and the New Orleans Saints, he can't get a job? Or retired. I guess it's more, will he retire?
Manny, weigh in with your prediction. Your bet is on. Holly Keefe in the building.
Holly says, Thanksgiving night game versus division rival at the bank. That's really the only way that it can be acceptable is if it's at the bank.
That'd be fun. That'd be very fun. Holly, thank you. Let us know when your Manta sleep mask has been secured, by the way. Sent that out last week. Appreciate you for all the love. And now with over 1,400 concurrents and counting on this Tuesday before the schedule release tomorrow, we get to the main topic at hand, Sarah, and that is rookie wide receiver and return specialist Leonte Wester, who the team, of course, used one of their plethora of 6th-round picks on. He played his final season with Coach Prime and Shador and Travis in Boulder for Colorado. Prior to that, he had a tremendously productive career at FAU, Florida Atlantic. He lit up the stat sheet. And of course, Willie Taggart used to be his head coach, who's now the running backs coach in Baltimore. You'd have to think, I would love to track him down at some point, by the way, to confirm if he indeed was part of that recruiting process on day 3 of the draft. Sarah, Todd McShay, of course, has made a big plunge in the digital space in recent months. He's a former ESPN analyst, all things draft. And he and his partner, Mensch, did a little post-draft rookie ranking, rookie drafting when it comes to offensive skill position players. And McShay went in the direction of Leonte. But where he went was definitely something that caught me off guard. Certainly an optimistic approach to the Leonte discussion. And I think it's fired up a lot of this fan base based on what I've seen in my mentions since tweeting out this segment yesterday. Here is the clip.
Well, real quick, sorry. We find you're setting up great. It's a ranking of what?
Basically, he and his partner did a post-draft offensive rookie skill position exercise where they were going player to player, and there were different rules and regulations that they were living in, but they were basically just looking at skill position players.
Okay, so there was no like what round it had to be in. It could be like a 1st rounder, it could be a 7th rounder, and anything in between.
Don't know the specifics on that, but this was definitely towards the end of the video, so that would make sense. It probably went 45, 50 minutes. He, of course, was a day 3 pick, so when he put 2 and 2 together, I just didn't watch the whole thing.
Gotcha.
I used their chapters for time purposes. So imagination has to wander on that one a little bit, but I don't think it'll wander very long because listen to Todd McShay build up Leonte Wester.
Round pick, 203 overall, coming out of Colorado. He was drafted by the Ravens. Tiny guy, man. 5'10", 163 pounds. But he ran a 4.46, and he's quicker than he is fast. Listen to they had other guys, right? Jimmy Horn Jr. ran fast. They got bigger guys. They've got faster guys. All that. It was always Wester, though, if you noticed. Obviously Travis Hunter, but it was always Wester, like getting the tough yards, like in a pinch. If they were double teaming or rolling coverage to Travis Hunter, he showed up. And he's been doing it for a while, just nobody knew about it. He was at FAU, Florida Atlantic, for 4 seasons, okay? The final season at FAU, he was 2nd in the FBS with 108 catches. Nobody knew about it. If a tree falls in the woods, like, nobody knows. But Colorado knew. Called him up, bring him in, come on, fly into Boulder. 13 games. He played all 13 games. 74 catches, 931 yards, almost 13 yards per catch, 10 touchdowns. Okay. He's a tough little nugget, man. Wester's a tough little nugget. I'm telling you, this guy's he's going to get in there with the Ravens receiver room, and he's going to look around. They're going to be taller than him, and they're going to be thicker and stronger than him. And Wester's going to look around and be like, hey, I'm a 6th-round pick. I'm 163 pounds. I can fucking play. I'm telling you, he can't. He's going to get his shot. You got Zay Flowers, you got Rashad Bateman, and you got DeAndre Hopkins, who's on his last leg. Like, very last, okay? Those are the 3 starters. Last year, Nelson Aguilar was the 3rd leading receiver, okay? In terms of receptions by receivers for the Ravens. He's gone. The 4th leading receiver in terms of receptions of the wide receiver, that room he's walking into with a bunch of bigger, older, stronger guys, whatever. The 4th leading receptions guy of the wide receiver group was Tylan Wallace, who's back. But he had 10 catches last year. There's a spot for Wester. He's one of those guys that, yeah.
All right. So first of all, sorry about that.
No, so much going on there.
I attempted to mute it because as I prepared this for the show yesterday, I do not censor out things unless they're completely just vile. But here in the vault, we obviously censor for language, and I just forgot to make a second clip. So sorry about that. I attempted to mute him in real time. Didn't work out. Fired it too hard. Triggered it. Didn't work. Second of all, how about the high praise for Leonte?
Okay. First of all, before I get to the praise, he was cracking me up with the way he kept talking about his size. He was like, he's just like, he's tiny. He's like, he is tiny. He is tiny at 5'10", 163. He's a little nugget. Like he was cracking me up where he just keeps talking about how small he is. Now, listen, I love how much he's building him up. Leonte really was like that, especially at Florida. And he transferred with his brother over to Colorado. And then next to Travis Hunter, I'm sure it helps that Travis Hunter is playing on the other side of you. But whether he was at Florida Atlantic or at Colorado, all he did was produce. Yeah. All he did was produce, Bobby. He finished in the Florida Atlantic first team all ACC wide receiver and returner. And he was an honorable mention for the All Big 12 conference last year. He's FAU's all-time leader in receptions and receiving yards and receiving touchdowns. And his 326 career receptions are the most in the FBS over the last 10 years. He produces for sure. And he's somebody that's very likable. I'm going to get to some videos from when he was drafted. He produces for sure. And we did get a look at him in recent rookie mini camp. This video right here, just courtesy, one little route as, in wide receiver drills, courtesy of WMAR. And, you can see, he can get open. I was watching his highlights right before we started. He can get open. He gets open out of the slot. He also, this is from Jonas Schaefer during camp. And this is where he's really going to be able to make an impact this year, is at returner. He'll secure the punt. So many times, sometimes you're just like grimacing, like last year. It's like, are these guys going to be able to reel it in? So he's certainly exciting. At the same time, though, I've been covering these Baltimore Ravens for about 20 years. And in May and June and July, it is so much fun to build up 5th round, 6th round, 7th round wide receivers, that are at the back of the depth chart. And pretty much every single time, they don't end up catching on. And so I trust Todd McShay's analysis of Leonte Wester. But when he says that Leonte Wester, he says there's a spot for him, I just don't know that there is, Bobby. I think that, he's excited about Wester. He's like, Nelson Aguilar's gone. Well, yeah, but Hopkins is in. DeAndre Hopkins is going to get all those targets. And Tylen is still there. And then you still have last year's rookie out of North Carolina, whose name I'm forgetting at this very second.
Devontae Walker.
Thank you, Devontae Walker. And then you've got Leonte. And then that's not even to mention the tight ends and how we all want to see Isaiah Likely get more, targets his way. You're still going to have Mark Andrews. You still got Derrick Henry. You still have Justice Hill. So when he says there's a spot, really the spot for Leonte as a rookie is going to be as a returner. I honestly think he can make a big impact on special teams. But his impact, if it's going to be in the receiver room, I don't think it's going to become in year one. And I think that what's nice is he'll have time to develop that. He's got a great love for Lamar Jackson, which I'll show in just a second. But I like Todd McShay's analysis. I just don't think he quite understands how the opportunity really lacks in Baltimore for him to get unless he just completely balls out more than Tylen, more than even DeAndre Hopkins, more than, Bateman. And I could see him getting a couple gadget plays, maybe, Bobby. I saw him in Colorado. A lot of his touchdowns were yards after the catch, and he'd taken in a lot of wide receiver screens. So I could see a package for him here and there, but he's just really realistically, unless there's injuries, he's just not going to get a shot like that.
You just said it. If he is, then they got issues with the guys in front of him physically.
Yeah.
And that would be problematic. So yeah, walk in, earn those reps when it comes to special teams and fill a void that clearly was there last year when it comes to returner. And then from there, anything else would be gravy in your rookie season.
Mm-hmm.
Like you mentioned, we saw Devontae last year. Very different build, but he could barely crack his way into the rotation. Wasn't really active on game day until a chunk of the way into the season. And I would suspect, I expect you hope to expect Leonte to be active on game day, because that'll have meant that they see him as a return specialist role player for them. But in terms of the wide receiver room, it's hard to disagree with anything you've said in terms of workload.
Now, I will say this, man. Leonte is for sure likable. So Hezo, who is a fun follow on Twitter, puts up lots of Ravens videos. He didn't credit where this originally came from, but this is clearly a behind-the-scenes video after he was drafted. Remember, Leonte is from Florida, but he's on the opposite side of the state. Like he's on a beach town over on the Gulf of what used to be Mexico, I guess is now the Gulf of America, whereas Broward County is on the Atlantic Ocean side. And so, but they're both from Florida. They're almost like right across from each other, kind of horizontally. But watch his reaction when he finds out he's coming to Baltimore and gets to team up with fellow Florida native Lamar Jackson.
Turn this shit up. Man, let's go, man. We're going to Baltimore, man.
You really can get your Brown County card now. Brown County Ravens. Get from Brown.
Going to Baltimore, man. Lamar Jackson, man. Lamar Jackson, man. Nigga dead, man. Lamar Jackson, man. The crib.
Where we going?
We're going to Baltimore, man. Lamar Jackson, man. Turn up. Baltimore, Baltimore. 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 Nah, that's gonna be crazy. Playing Baltimore, he's in Baltimore.
I gotta get this shit right.
Yeah, I gotta call LJ, man.
Man, we with LJ now.
I don't know. I couldn't tell. You think he was excited to be in Baltimore with Lamar?
I think so. That he's got a whole community around him, which is super cool. And since folks are taking issue with where you describe Palmetto, Florida, let's go ahead to Google Maps and take a close look, because clearly we are not from there. So there it is, just south, Sarah, of where I'll be chilling for the foreseeable future, starting September 1st.
Wait, taking issue with what?
I think where you describe Palmetto, I don't know.
It's right there on the Gulf of Mexico / America.
Here it is, just north of Bradenton.
Yeah.
On the west coast of the state of Florida, just south of St. Pete, of course, and Tampa and Clearwater and that whole area right there. And then, of course, Lamar's from over on the opposite coast.
The East Coast.
Let's see. He is like Boynton Beach area, right around there. So, and of course, Ingraven somewhere down around here as well. I think he's more like Fort Lauderdale area, if I'm remembering correctly. I may not be, but shout out Ing. So there you have it. There's your geography tidbit for the day in terms of where some of these Ravens hail.
There we go. Meanwhile, by the way, chat was saying that he's got his own YouTube page, so maybe that's where Hezo got these videos. One other thing, it sounded like one of the first phone calls he got in terms of Ravens teammates came from Nate Wiggins, who I'm sure he'll be going up against at times at practice.
I was on Nate Wiggins last night.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Nate Wiggins.
Yeah.
He might go to a man. I ain't gonna lie. He be picking everything up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I played against him when I was at FAU though.
Oh, yeah?
Clemson. Yeah, I played against him.
Nate Wiggins.
2023.
He tough. No doubt.
So just from there, we've been. My receiver coach is his manager.
Really?
Yeah. Like my receiver coach that was training me throughout the draft process. He is manager, so
okay.
We got closer throughout the process.
That's what's up.
It happened for sure.
Okay. So
Yeah.
his receivers coach is Nate's manager. That's good to know, Sarah. That's good supplemental information that we're going to file away. But, this is the future right now. These guys, a lot of these guys were born in the 2003, 2004, 2002 guys that are coming out of school.
Yep.
And so the new future is to have personal YouTube channels. That is the future.
Yeah.
Not only for where their highlights can live, but sort of in a vlog way of for teams and fan bases to be able to consume their content and what they're all about behind the scenes. So good look.
For those asking, Wiggins was born in Atlanta, Georgia, went to high school in Atlanta also. So not from Florida, but a neighbor nearby.
And everybody's reminding me that Hezo's been on my channel before as a call-in. So thank you for that reminder. I'm wondering if Hezo works with these guys too, because he's got his @ on the video. So I'm wondering, Hezo, I have to reach out to him and get the 411. He sounds like he knows what's going on. So anyway, good stuff. That is Leonte Wester and your new potential return specialist and wide receiver, the rookie out of Colorado. Eli Sports Guy hit us with a super chat, which means we'll be fully caught up to speed after we read this one. He can definitely play, but knowing Harbs, he won't see the field until year 3 or 4 regarding Leonte. All righty. Thank you guys for being with us. Over 1,900 concurrents today. Schedule releases tomorrow. Sarah and I will be live for our 3rd annual special. Hopefully you'll join us here inside the vault. Please like the video on your way in. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. Hit that notification bell and enter your chance. Enter the raffle. Enter the giveaway for a chance to win a $100 Fanatics gift card to Baltimore's team store by clicking on the link that we have in the pinned comment right now in the live chat. Sarah, we've been holding this for a while now. What do you got for us on Lamar?
Yeah, so on the NFL Network, they had Isaiah Stanback do his top 5 dual threat quarterbacks in NFL history. For those that don't know, Isaiah was a dual threat quarterback himself. He went to the University of Washington. He started there as a wide receiver. And then his junior and senior years, he moved over to quarterback, was a starter for them. When he made it into the NFL, he kind of went around from team to team, but was really played more wide receiver, was drafted as a wide receiver in the NFL. Never really caught on anywhere for a long period of time. He does have a Super Bowl ring because in 2009 he landed in with the Patriots in New England, so he's got that. But so with his background of being a dual threat quarterback, even though it didn't really catch on in the NFL level, they asked him to put together his top 5 dual threat quarterbacks. I'll just give you the list up top. He's got number 5 Donovan McNabb, number 4 Randall Cunningham, number 3 Cam Newton. Number 2, Lamar Jackson. Number 1, Michael Vick. Now listen, I think this is the wrong list. I just want to be clear that it's all love between these guys. Cam Newton, Michael Vick give nothing but love to Lamar Jackson, and he reciprocates that. He's got nothing but love for Cam Newton, Michael Vick. In fact, Michael Vick is a guy that Lamar Jackson grew up watching. So as I proceed to try to destroy this list and make Lamar number 1, I just want to put out there that it's all love for Michael Vick, because it is upon all of these guys' shoulders that Lamar Jackson got to come in the league, and he stands on their shoulders. So we always like to give a hat tip to the guys that come before us and help pave the way. But I want you to listen to Isaiah Stanback's reasoning. First, we'll go number 2 with Lamar. We'll take a little break. We'll react, and then we'll see why he put Michael Vick number 1. And Bobby, I really just don't think this is close. I think you easily have to put Lamar number 1, but let's listen to why he puts him number 2 at first.
Now, this is when it starts getting dicey. Who do you put at number 2? Who do you put at number 1? Let's go ahead and start with the man that has one of the nastiest spin moves you've ever seen. Let's take a look at Lamar Jackson.
It's a 2nd down and 3. Jackson takes it himself. Look at him dart back and forth. Oh, he broke his ankles. Now he's got an entourage, and he's got a touchdown. He is Houdini. What a play. 47-yard touchdown run by the magical quarterback, Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson is one of the most feared offensive threats in this league. His dude runs a 4.3. At any given point in time, he is the fastest man on the field, and he just happens to be the guy who touches the ball every single play. So when you run a 4.3, when you are as elusive as he is, when you have a strong arm, when you have the ability to throw on the run, you are going to be at the top of the list in terms of dual threat quarterbacks because you are that dude. 2-time MVP. I believe he should have been a 3-time MVP, but he'll go out there and have another opportunity to do so because he is just getting started in his career. That's why he's number 2 for me for dual threat quarterbacks. Now,
Okay. So, Bobby, the way he just put that together to me made it seem like
Sorry, I'm trying to get us back to
there
our
we go.
rankings.
It made it seem like what he just talked about is a 2-time MVP, and then he says, and he's just getting started. That to me is already a bid for number 1. Maybe he's putting Lamar number 2 because it still is technically early-ish in his career, not even close to being done. But to me, that's a number 1 resume that he just outlined.
I would agree. I think he's surpassed him. I don't know about multiple years ago, maybe 2 years ago, he would have surpassed him. I think Steve Young was snubbed by not being on this top 5 list. Friend of the show, your idol growing up. I think he could have absolutely cracked his way over Donovan McNabb, for example. Cam and Randall, very deserving members of this list, I would think. And of course, Vick is deserving of being on this list as well.
For sure, at number 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. No, I would agree. I got nothing to push back on this one. I don't care if he's an active player or not. And to your point, maybe that is the reason. You'd like to know, are you not giving it to him because he's an active player? Well, guess what? Guy's in his prime, and he's already surpassed Vick in terms of resume, in terms of accomplishments, in terms of, man, you could even say that while Michael was a transcendent player, Lamar is as well, just as much, if not more. Think about the roads that he's paved for players to come behind him, the same way that Vick did for him and others. So,
well, here's his reasoning for putting Michael Vick number 1. And honestly, Bobby, it just sounds like he just likes him. He was his idol growing up. You tell me if you hear something different.
you guys know there's no way in this world that I'm going to leave the only quarterback who had his own shoe, and he held it down not only in AT Alien, but he held it down in Philadelphia, Mr. Michael Vick. Let's take a look. You know you are that dude when years upon years after you retire, people still are buying your jerseys for the Atlanta Falcons. That is Mike Vick. He is what I call McNasty. His balance, his speed, his arm talent. This dude was an absolute problem for anybody that tried to face him. He single-handedly would make you change your defense. Matter of fact, I believe he's probably the first quarterback that defensive coordinators had to have a spy for, and they took one of their most athletic players and tried to shut him down. But guess what? 9 out of 10 times, it didn't work, okay? So Mike Vick, number 1 on my list for dual threat quarterback. He is the guy who made me want to play the quarterback position. That is my top 5.
Yeah.
I think he just gave it up in the end there. I think you just tipped him right there at the end. He's the guy that, because he grew up in that era, how many people is that to Lamar?
Right.
Or is Lamar to that? You know, so right there at the end, I think that gave it away a little bit.
That totally, when he started talking about that he's still selling jerseys, it's like, what's that got to do with anything? You know, jersey, shoes. You know, maybe he was the first guy that, you know, teams had to give a spy for. Like, again, like I said, I think he helped pave the way for Lamar Jackson. But here's where we get into the numbers, Bobby, because I think this will paint the story. You said that you weren't sure when he passed him up. Well, officially, last year, he passed him up in the most rushing yards by a quarterback. And so Michael Vick notched 6,109 rush yards in 143 games. 143 games. Lamar beat that, got to 6,110 in 102 games. Okay, so 41 fewer games to pass him on the all-time rushing list from quarterbacks. Now, to be fair, probably in Vick's Atlanta team or even Eagles didn't embrace rushing the way John Harbaugh and the Ravens did. Some might argue they even maybe ran Lamar too much, wanted to see them develop as a passer more quickly. But regardless, he beat him in those rushing yards in 41 fewer games. But we're talking about dual threat, so it's not just rushing. Well, when it comes to passing, Lamar beats him in most things too, despite being in fewer games. So Lamar has a better quarterback record. He won 70 games, lost 24, compared to Michael Vick's career winning 61 to 51. So Lamar's completion percentage, much better, 64.9 to Vick's 56.2. Michael Vick still has more raw passing yards, but Lamar's going to pass him up this year. His career passing yards for Michael Vick is 22,464. Lamar's just over 20,000 right now. He's going to get 2,500 this year plus. So he's going to pass that. Yards per attempt, Lamar wins. Yards per game, Lamar wins. Passing touchdowns, Lamar wins. And that's just raw passing touchdowns. Way fewer interceptions. Quarterback rating, Lamar kills him. It's 102 to 80. It's just almost everything. Then you look at Pro Bowls. They both had 4. Lamar had 3 All-Pros. Michael Vick had 0. Lamar has had 2 MVPs, and Isaiah himself said it should have been 3. Michael Vick had 0. Neither one of them championships. Lamar certainly still has the opportunity where Michael Vick doesn't. Then here's huge proof that Lamar is better. Michael Vick himself, when Lamar was coming out of college, this was his quote when he talked about watching him. He said, "It was a spitting image of me. This kid is 5 times better than what I was." So Michael Vick giving it up. And how about the number 3 quarterback on the list? Cam Newton. Who does he say is the best dual threat quarterback?
See or think of yourself as the greatest dual threat to ever play the game.
No, Lamar Jackson.
What? Why so? Why Lamar?
Well, Lamar's style is a little different than mine. He got big play, any play.
Yeah.
Yes, he got speed that I never had, and he's just electric. And then, like, I play the game more powerful. You know,
You're going to run through you. They might run around you.
yeah, I can run, but I might probably get caught. Vick, Lamar, they ain't getting caught.
You have to respect that from Cam Newton. Cam, are you the best dual threat quarterback? No, that's Lamar Jackson.
I'll never forget how stunned he was when I had the privilege of being in his company at the Super Bowl party in New Orleans, and I just whispered to him, "Hey, did you see that Lamar didn't win MVP?" And he was just like, "Yeah, you're effing with me." I said, "No." Yeah. It went to Josh Allen, and he was ticked. So, by the way, it only took Lamar 1 full season. He didn't even need the full season to surpass Michael Vick's years-long record of single-season rushing yards by a quarterback. And he did that in, of course, when it became his first MVP season, 2019. So it's really hard to argue, honestly. Yeah. It's hard to argue that at this point.
Is like the Ravens bias thing, right? Like just look at all the evidence.
There's no bias in it. The only bias is in it, I think, is that, what's this dude's name again?
Isaiah Stanback.
Yeah, and no disrespect to Isaiah, but I think he just kind of
has a childhood hero.
Well, yeah, I think he outed himself a little bit there at the end. And just because he grew, you don't want to hold it against him that he grew up in that era. There's a million kids that are saying that about Lamar that are growing up in this era right now. So there's going to be a bunch of Isaiahs years from now that'll say, "Oh, it's Lamar, no questions asked." But
yeah,
assuming that somebody from behind, like a Jaden Daniels, doesn't come out and just go crazy over these next few years, they'll be correct for assuming that Lamar is the top dual threat of all time, and they'll have plenty to discuss to back that statement up as well.
And by the way, I just want to agree with you. I think Steve Young should absolutely be on this list. I don't know why he's not thought of more often as a dual threat, but you go back and watch his highlights. He for sure was a dual threat, and he's got, the Super Bowl ring. I will say, as an honorable mention, I don't know that I'd push him over anybody here. But I do think, as an honorable mention, Josh Allen is in the conversation. I don't think he cracks my top 5. And he obviously has a completely different style than Lamar when he runs. He's more like this just big kind of truck daring you to take him down. But I don't know that people have to, prepare for him as a runner, obviously the way they do for Lamar Jackson. So I wouldn't have him crack the top 5, but I'd have him as an honorable mention.
Sure. I'd take McNabb off mine. I'd slide Steve into 5. Lamar, Vick, Newton, Cunningham. I'm fine with that. If you just make sure you switch Lamar and Vick, and then add in Steve Young.
One other thing. So there were a couple of tweets going around yesterday from the Twitter account Ronosco. It's a Ravens and Raiders fan account. But I saw a lot of people retweeting this. They tagged me on it. I do want to give it a little bit of love because this is driving home, the point that obviously Lamar Jackson and the Ravens offense need to tamp down on the turnovers in the playoffs. But we've been trying to push this a little bit more. I think it deserves equal time. And that's how many, or the lack of turnovers happening on defense. So, Ronosco puts this out. He says, since the start of the 2019 season, which is the first season that Lamar started a full season. Since that 2019 season, Lamar Jackson has started a drive 0 times in opponents' territories out of 8 playoff games. 0 times. Okay. How does that compare to other, perpetual playoff quarterbacks? Well, Josh Allen, he's had it 13 times in 13 games. Mahomes has started in the opponent's territory 20 times in 21 games. Jalen Hurts, 15 times in 9 games. Tom Brady, 13 times in 8 games. Burrow, 6 times in 7 games. His conclusion of that was it's hard to be successful without help. Then he added to it. He said, here's the records of these players when their team does not get a turnover during that same span since 2019. So team records when you do not get a turnover created by the defense. Lamar is 2-4. Allen, 2-2. Mahomes is the only one that bucks the trend. He's 5-1. Hurts, 0-3 when his defense doesn't get a turnover. Brady, 0-1. And then Burrow, just 0-0. So he says Mahomes is goated, followed by Lamar and Allen carrying their teams, with Hurts struggling without help. And then his final tweet on this, he said that 86% of Lamar's games, when his defense does not, or there's 86% of Lamar's games, his defense has not gotten a turnover. 86%. Again, how does that compare? Allen, only 30% of his games, his defense didn't get a turnover. Mahomes, only 28%. Hurts, 33%. Brady, 12%. Burrow, 0%. So, listen, this isn't to say that Lamar can't play better in the playoffs, although I've said it a million times, he keeps getting better. He continues to get better. But I'm not seeing the same upward trend elsewhere. I need everybody else to get better with him. And that includes the defense taking the ball away, or at least getting stops in the opponent's territory where Lamar and the offense can take over.
It's the necessary context that you need to help describe why they've fallen short year after year after year in January. Mm-hmm. It's a collective blame that should be divvied up, right? The arrow should be pointed collectively, not just at number 8. So that's good stuff. Special teams has been far from elite. Defensive playmaking has been far from elite. And obviously, while Lamar has improved, he has not been himself in that month as well. So good stuff there from Ron, or Ron Rowski, you said? Ronowski?
Ron Roscoe.
That's a pretty deep dive there. We got to give him a little bit of love. At Ron Rutt.
At Ron Roscoe 2.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff from him.
That is a deep dive. You had to go get some, look at a lot of stats for that.
For sure. We appreciate you guys for being with us on this Tuesday prior to tomorrow night's schedule release, which we're very much looking forward to. Hope you'll join us for our coverage right here inside the vault. Let's get back to Super Chats before we rip through a slew of quick hits. And we left off with Eli Sports Guy, who also dropped in another one. And he says Lamar's miles ahead of Vick. It's not even debatable. Tristan gifted a membership. So who's on the receiving end? You guys know the drill. Tristan's being generous. We want to know who was the recipient. So thanks, Tristan, for that. And welcome whoever our new Voltron is, who will look out for who that might be in the chat in just a second. 2 months of membership. It's his anniversary, and David, Sarah is celebrating.
Said Cam dropped a football 101 video talking about how much of a stud LJ is. I actually was tagged on that, and I saw it right before the show started. It's like a good 45-minute or longer video on Cam talking about Lamar. So you're going to we'll have that ready for you tomorrow.
Richard says, proves that special teams needs to step up, kind of what Ron was getting at in his tweet there. And then Eli Sports Guy.
Proves Ravens defense is overrated in the playoffs. They don't get 3 and outs, and they don't force turnovers.
Appreciate you, Eli. That's your 3rd super chat. Have we figured out who the new Voltron is? Who's it going to be? I'm looking in the chat. Don't know yet, but let us know whoever received Tristan's generous gift. On to quick hits we go, and the Ravens have signed a kicker, a tackle, and a defensive back, a couple of whom we've spoken about before. Lucas Scott, I think, being the exception to that tackle. I don't believe we've mentioned him before. But Keon Martin, the defensive back, and kicker John Hoyland, who, of course, is the Wyoming undrafted player. All 3 are undrafted, but John Hoyland's going to be competing, you would think. I don't know if it's actually going to be viewed as a competition, being that they drafted Tyler Loop in the 6th round, and he obviously is the front runner. But John played his college football at Wyoming, and now he's going to have a chance to compete, at least through the offseason program, Sarah. And are they full now? Does this mean they're full, 90-man?
Well, this got us to 89, but I think Jez Rebeck dropped some news that put us at 90 before we get to that last signing that hasn't been made official by the team yet. I do want to talk a little bit about Scott, just briefly, this tackle. So he obviously played for Army. He was in a Football Writers Association of America All-American. He's 6'3", with, of course, position flexibility, who tried out at the Ravens rookie minicamp. He started at Army both at right guard and right tackle, but was recruited there originally as a fullback and tight end. Army head coach Jeff Monken is, you guessed it, the cousin of Ravens offensive coordinator Todd Monken. So I'm sure the cousins have spoken to each other, and I'm sure he got a glowing report from his cousin on Scott. We've talked about Martin already, the defensive back, who had a big pro day, ran a 40-yard dash in 4.38 seconds, 39-inch vert, and a 10'4" broad jump. He's 5'9" and 170 pounds, had 56 tackles and 2 interceptions last season for the Ragin' Cajuns. Also, we already know about Hoyland, who's now officially signed to the 90-man roster, and is going to be, the kicking competition for Tyler Loop, although I'm sure Tyler Loop is the, massive, massive favorite to win it. But out in Wyoming, Hoyland made 79.3 of his field goal attempts and 99.3% of his extra points during his 5 years at Wyoming. He's 15 of 19 on field goals. He was 15 of 19 on field goals last year. And his 22 successful field goals in 2022 set a Wyoming single-season school record. He missed twice in 54 attempts during his career he only missed twice in 54 attempts during his career from under 40 yards. 3 of his 4 misses last season were from 50 or more yards. So that will be the competition. This is the one that should put him at 90, Bobby.
Yeah, Jeff was on it.
You got this one.
Jeff was on it. It's a UNC undrafted free agent outside linebacker by the name of and to be quite honest with you, I never got the pronunciation on the first name. I was supposed to do that, so my apologies. It's either Kamen or Kyman. Rucker. He had 22 sacks over his final 4 college seasons. Fractured his fibula in the final college season in Chapel Hill. And he is going to put the Ravens roster at capacity. So there you have it. The 90-man roster, at least for the time being, is solidified. And I look forward to learning a little bit more about these undrafted free agents, Sarah, and if somebody on what's going to be inevitably a very, very competitive back end of this roster might put himself in position to do the unthinkable this year with how competitive it is, and that is stealing a 53-man roster slot. Maybe unlikely, But it's going to be fun to watch this summer.
Especially for Rucker. He's going in at the outside linebacker position where they just got Mike Green and have other young guys, Adisa Isaac, a job was trying to play for his life. So that is going to be an uphill challenge for him for sure.
Yep.
Some AFC North news. How about this? The Browns are placing their linebacker, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, on the physically unable to perform list, which means he is out, Bobby, for the 2025 season.
Such a bummer.
Yeah.
Such a bummer. He's a really good dude. I know there's been some heated battles there for sure. And I know Lamar, I think, was injured on a play that he was involved in years ago. And of course, Derrick Henry absolutely trucked him last year. You hate to see it. He's a good dude, a gifted player, and that's a big loss for Cleveland.
It's a big loss. It's a big loss right in the middle of their defense for sure. Meanwhile, some people are saying after getting a look at their two rookie quarterbacks, Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel, this is Brad Stainbrook, who was at practice. He says, yes, it's only the first day. It's only the beginning. The competition is real. But he felt like Shedeur looked sharper than Gabriel. I've heard other people say that. But then I've heard other people say the opposite.
I was going to say one of whom, and I saw this in our quick hits, and I started to, because the things you see on your timeline, sometimes you just see it in passing for a quick little millisecond, and you're on to the next thing. You have to go back and check yourself. Mm-hmm. And so I went back and looked, and sure enough, friend of the show, Tony Grossi, who's a beat reporter for the Browns or for one of the networks that covers them in town in Cleveland, said the opposite. So there are some conflicting opinions on this. Mm-hmm. We'll see. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch this quarterback battle play out in Cleveland because these aren't the only two in the room.
No, they are not.
They're the only two there right now, but that's subject to change in a couple weeks from now for sure.
Meanwhile, this was kind of strange yesterday. So it appeared as if George Pickens was replying to a post on Instagram. Like it looks like his account. And he says they, meaning the Steelers, are the cheapest organization. Ain't no stacking year after year. They're going to let them N-words go too soon as it's time, LMAO. Well, Pickens says that wasn't him. He feels like that was AI generated because he says apparently he was up in the air on a flight and he lands and he starts seeing everywhere. Pickens calls out the Steelers organization, he shots fired type thing. And then he posts this on Instagram in a story. He's like, I'm literally on a plane. He has a picture of himself on the plane. There's no service. I just landed and have seen straight lies from Pittsburgh fans. Stop with AI trying to make a story. I'm happy for everything the Steel City did for me. Happy Mother's Day, too, to all the mothers out there. Signs at GP. I'll be honest, I believe him. That's too crazy. That's too hard. And by the way, it's not like they are cheap. They just gave the money that could have been for him to Metcalf. They paid Metcalf. And they gave up draft compensation. So that's why I believe him, is because they spent money on wide receiver. It just wasn't him.
Everything's on the table when it comes to Pickens. I don't know if I can.
You don't believe him?
I don't know if I can give him the benefit of doubt. The timing is probably the best in his favor right now, right? For the timing purposes and being on a plane and whatnot, and just how often these AI images have come to be a thing in the Twitter space for sure. But I don't know, man. Pickens' track record should not give him the benefit of doubt in certain situations. I'm not saying this is one of them, but it's hard for me to give him the benefit of doubt given some of his off-field stuff, the antics. There's a lot. He's a highly emotional player, and Dallas is taking a big, well, I guess it's not a huge risk because they may not end up paying him, right? It's really not a big risk at all. We covered that last week.
And he's still on his rookie contract, so it's not a lot of cap stuff. Yeah. And if they do let him walk, then they'll get likely a third-round draft comp pick.
Yeah. Mark Kabbally, by the way, put up some really interesting reporting nuggets yesterday. He's the former Pittsburgh Steelers writer who was let go, and then McAfee brought him on as like I think contributor.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of ties to the Pittsburgh area. And he made some tweets yesterday that was direct from direct sources of his that led you to believe straight up that George's act was getting tired in Pittsburgh, and his peers were over it. There were a percentage of people in that organization that were absolutely done with his antics. So anyway, interesting stuff there.
How about this?
Love Rich. Absolutely love Rich Eisen. He's going back to ESPN where his career once began. Not sure where his actual beginning was, but he spent a lot of time at ESPN, and he's going back. I believe this is going to be on Disney Plus and ESPN Plus. Adam Schefter just tweeted that out a short while ago. Andrew Marchand was all over this yesterday. One of the good guys, Sarah, for sure. Super talented. Studio host, play-by-play broadcasting, reporting from time to time. Great dude.
I thought it was funny. I think it was one of the Barstool guys put up a Photoshop of Rich Eisen from his early days at ESPN with, a window of news right there, which is modern day Rich Eisen, joking that young Rich Eisen was announcing the news of modern day Rich Eisen. I was looking for that, but I guess I didn't bookmark it. I wanted to put it in here, but I thought that was kind of, well, there's that. That wasn't it, but yeah. Look at him with all that hair.
Looking good.
He should have made a deal like you, Bobby.
It's not too late, Rich. If you want to be put in touch with Bosley, I'm sure your pockets go a little bit deeper than mine do. But let's get you set up with Bosley.
It's not too late.
It's probably too late.
Yeah.
He's very self-deprecating when it comes to his hairline as it is, which always cracks me up. I think he's just he's a refreshing guy, super talented. I love the way that he interviews. He's charismatic is the word that comes to mind for me. Charismatic.
Yeah. He was great. He did an interview for me when I was doing the Man of the Crowd podcast. He gave me a good 30 minutes and he was fantastic. And no, I think he's great. And speaking of just being bald, my dad was bald from the moment I remember meeting him when I was born. Like, he was always bald. One of my brothers is bald. And I think if it weren't too late, you would have just given them hope, Bobby. But you were trolling a little bit, maybe not even on purpose.
Hey, you never know. Bosley could be sitting here watching this, being like, "Heck, it's not too late. We can get Rich in there. Come on, let's do it." So anyway, congratulations to Rich Eisen, and just for programming purposes, it is going to be Disney Plus and ESPN Plus, same time slot, noon to 3 p.m. And it'll be this fall, and it's coinciding with the launch of ESPN's direct to consumer offering, which I believe was just announced with Tilly within the last 24 hours or so. I shouldn't have left the windows open today. It's very mild out, so I love the natural, the fresh air. But now she wants to get her cameo in here. But anyway, that's what's going on there. And here's what's going on here. If you have not taken the 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how long of a reader you are, to go check out Ronnie Stanley's piece in the Players Tribune, I would highly recommend you carve out some time to do so when you can, because it was brutally honest. It was as transparent as it gets from somebody that's in the public eye. And it opened you, it really peeled back the curtain in a way that I thought was extremely unique, Sarah. Ronnie Stanley opened up in a big way. And I wanted to read a couple snippets, if you don't mind.
Yeah, please do. I haven't had a chance to read it yet.
That I thought were some takeaways. One of which was tweeted out by the Ravens, and it has to do with his relationship with Lamar. And that graphic reads, "One teammate I can talk about always having my back is Lamar Jackson. There were other guys who had my back too, but 8 always had my back. I've never met a more authentic person in the NFL. He's the face of the franchise and has all the pressure in the world on his shoulders. He's got every incentive to just be a company man. And instead, he comes in every day like his genuine self, not trying to fit any mold, an elite competitor with that childlike joy for the game. I love it." And if that doesn't hit different right there, let me tell you why this even came up. you'll notice that he says, but one teammate, as if to say that the opposite was out there, right? That there was a lack of support out there. Well, Ronnie made it clear that throughout his rehab process, throughout that grueling, nagging ankle injury that plagued him for multiple seasons, there was a sense of, whether it was indirect or direct, pressure that came from multiple aspects, multiple facets of the organization that had a true effect on him. And I'm going to read from his piece right now.
Okay.
I was under the impression that the pain I was feeling wouldn't hinder my rehab progression or damage my body more seriously. So even though I felt that something was off, I pushed through it. This is in the aftermath of multiple procedures. This is after that ankle injury. This is a year after. Let's fast forward to the first game, week 1 of the 2021 season. If I'm not mistaken, that was Monday Night Football in Vegas against the Raiders. I was in so much pain that I was crying for a good portion of the game. Coming off the field after drives, I had tears streaming down my face out of anger, frustration, despair, and just pain. I felt like I was letting down my team. I played like arse, and I knew it, and it hurt all the more because I just couldn't do what I knew I should have been doing out there on the field. Plus, we lost. I knew something was severely wrong. That was definitely the Raiders game because they did lose that game. After the game, they did an MRI, and it turned out that my deltoid ligament looked like it was completely torn. The only thing that didn't tear the season before was that. He tore every other area in his ankle. For 6 weeks after that, I tried to rehab the injury because the doctors felt like maybe it wasn't actually torn and that I could just rehab it and get better. But if it was torn, it would be an 8 to 12 month recovery, and there wouldn't even be 100% certainty that the ligament would work normally after the procedure. It was all the more frustrating because there was no way for us to know for sure if it was actually torn until I got the surgery. With another lost season looming, I could sense everybody's frustration. This is where it gets really interesting. Nobody wanted to believe it, not even me. I'll never forget that feeling of everybody looking at me like, dang, Ronnie, you got the bag and now you're getting surgery, huh? Do you really need it? Can't you just play through this? The narrative was basically, this dude can't fight through the pain. He doesn't love the game like that. He doesn't love the game like that. He just wants to get the money and run. And Sarah, he goes on, and I could keep reading it because it's that good. It's that introspective. But just for time purposes, go out there and check it out. It is a fully accessed article. You don't need to. It's a fully accessible article. You don't need anything special to read this. And it was Ronnie it was raw. It was raw. It was real. And it was an exceptional read. And I give so much credit. I commend Ronnie for opening up like this because it was special.
The game of football is a game that's just violent. And then you're in pain if you're healthy. And then so for him to have to continue to gut it through and just not even know exactly what was wrong with his ankle, but know that he's in pain. And then on top of it, instead of being like, hey, Ronnie, we get it. You're injured. It's all good. Instead of it, like when you're going through a ton of physical pain, on top of it, it's this narrative that it's like, oh, you got your money. So now you're done. And so then the mental anguish on top of like the physical anguish and also the mental anguish of knowing that your body won't do what you're usually capable of doing. That's crazy. But I do love this here. He's like, 8 always had my back.
There is so many different aspects of this that are takeaways, that are learning moments that we didn't know about, that we were not privy to about his rehab process, opening up about some of the self-doubt, the depression, who got him through it, how he decided to embrace a rescue dog foundation, his 2 rescue dogs that are incredibly therapeutic, and his rocks. I cannot recommend it enough. It was exceptional. And take a couple minutes if you guys have time to. And lastly, there is that link that we have right now in the live chat as a pinned comment. Again, one of the many wrinkles for tomorrow night that we have in store for you is a $100 Fanatics gift card to be used for Baltimore's team store. If you want to enter yourself in, you can get a head start before tomorrow night. Click on that link. It'll take you to the PRMI Mid-Atlantic Instagram page. That is courtesy of them. It's Primary Residential Mortgage, one of my sponsors over on my side of things, who were kind enough to add into tomorrow night's thrill. Not that we got enough thrill. There's going to be plenty of it with the schedule release coming up, where we will learn the dates and times, Sarah, for every single opponent for this upcoming season.
Can I give you one more AFC North quick hit that just came through?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. It's regarding Trey Hendrickson. So Mike Petrol. Oh my gosh, how do I say his name? Petraglia. Sorry, Mike, I just butchered your name. Columnist, writing about Bengals and the Reds, all things Cincy. He also has the Jungle Roar podcast. He just tweeted this at 12:44. He said Trey Hendrickson just vented for 23 minutes. Here's some takeaways. He does not plan on playing under the current 1-year, $21 million deal. He received a text from Zach Taylor, head coach of the Bengals, on Monday, threatening him with fines if he didn't show up at the mandatory minicamp in June. That text angered Hendrickson and triggered his statement that we read on Monday to the national media. He said he still has a good relationship with Taylor. Told you. But he reiterated that he has no communication. He has had no communication from the team since the draft. He is glad that Jamar Chase and T. Higgins got their deals. He still loves Cincy and wants to remain here if possible. He doesn't feel there's been enough of an effort to communicate with them, his wife and agent. So he has been threatened with fines if he doesn't show up to mandatory minicamp.
This is getting better and better, baby. The funny part is when he showed up today, I'm seeing the photos of him. I just Googled his name too. He showed up looking like Tiger Woods, like he's wearing a golf outfit and is actually like not participating, but at least is present. So, it gets even better and better. And it's getting better right now, by the way, in the live chat. We've been on a little bit of a tangent right now, just ripping through these quick hits.
Yeah, there's a lot of green.
We maybe haven't been paying attention as much as we should have. Gifts are flying off the shelf right now. Memberships are flying around. Park Heights Profit just gifted 5. Mike M gifted 1. Jackie says, thank you, Park Heights. You're the best. Darlene says, thank you, Park Heights Profit, for the membership. Park Heights also gifted an additional 5, Sarah, which I'm just now realizing because I'm going up. I'm not going in chronological order. Who else gifted it? Bro Flacco gifted 1. Bro Flacco was also the recipient of another person's generosity who I'm just forgetting. That must have been Tristan's from earlier on in the show. So, Sarah, it's not Friday, but the generosity is flying around. And by the time we're done, we might be at 150 channel memberships when it's all said and done.
Well, it's crazy because can you imagine like what's going to happen when training camp starts and then the season week 1 opener? Like what's going to happen after wins? People are going to be so generous.
That's awesome. And it really is cool because such a level of generosity there, Park Heights. And Park Heights is also dropping in orange banners to begin with it right now as well. Are you all good over there? Did something just happen? Did we lose? Okay, we lost you, at least your audio. But Park Heights Profit, I'll let you get yourself situated. Park Heights Profit, who is a channel member and has gifted out a 10 Voltron channel memberships, also throws in a super chat on top of it because why not? Park Heights Profit checking in. One more day until I find out when I go to Buffalo. Hope it's week 1 or Sunday or Monday night. Also, I can see in the chat who received the membership gifts. Let's go Vault, #1 Ravens source. We appreciate you, Park Heights. That's awesome. I don't believe we have you back just yet. Okay, you're here now.
Okay. I think I got a little crazy with my you get a membership Oprah pointing. And I think I accidentally knocked a button that pulled me off of the mic.
It's all good. I mean, you've been watching this play out, though. Park Heights is just dumping his super chats into us. Maybe you want to bet. I don't know. Just a little more bread because Trey is angry. I love to see my opponents down bad. Call me a sick man. LOL. So, okay, Sarah, we need to figure out. There's a couple more super chats. So I'm going to go read these next couple. Can you search through and see if we can bring up some more members who have been gifted? Can you star a couple
through the live
comments?
chat.
So, guys, can you let us know if you were? There's been 10 plus given out so far. So, can you make yourself known if you have been gifted a channel membership? We would like to acknowledge you and also acknowledge the generosity of everybody who's gifted thus far. Omni King says, Bobby and Sarah, is the NBA rigged or not? That's referring to last night's lottery pick, Sarah. The Dallas Mavericks had less than a 2% chance to win the number 1 overall selection. And, of course, Cooper Flagg, the Duke prospect, who's expected to be number 1. After everything that took place with Nico Harrison and Luka Doncic and everything that's taken place since then, it certainly opens the door for that conspiracy theory. I am not one of those that believes in that, but less than 2% chance. You got to go back over the last few years. There have been also very, very unlikely percentage-wise, odds-wise teams who have also won the number 1 overall selection. I believe San Antonio was one of those. There have been others in recent seasons. So I'm not a believer in that, Sarah. Are you?
Listen, this is coming from I'm both a Utah Jazz and Denver Nuggets fan, but just from the Karl Malone, John Stockton days, trying to beat Michael Jordan, which never happened. So as a Utah Jazz fan who keeps not winning, especially since they let Spido Mitchell out the door from Louisville, they have never, ever gotten a number 1 draft pick.
Yeah.
And if, like, as a Utah Jazz fan, I would like to believe in the conspiracy, but no, I can't do it.
Okay.
Can't do it. I just don't think it's rigged like that.
You know, you'd be ripping me too if I was leaning into that. You know that.
Oh yeah, I would.
You
go from Bobby drama to Bobby conspiracy.
You'd be running hot. I'm not going to lean into it, but I will say this. And by the way, Sarah, the organic effect has officially taken place. There's a trickle down happening right now. Memberships are flying in. So thank you, everybody, for your Tuesday generosity. They just continue to come in. So thank you. I will say this. If the NFL wanted to adopt some form or fashion of a lottery, I think it would add to the thrill of opening night of the draft in the first round. That'd be really cool to figure out a way to incorporate that one way or the other. Liv B wrote, Bro Flacco got the first, and then Bro Flacco gifted to Justin Morris. So thank you, Liv, for keeping track. Bro Flacco, again, has gifted 1 membership. Let's see. D-Rod, channel member, says we need that nasty defensive player that shows up. And
so I start a couple in there for you.
Thank you. Darlene Harris, congratulations, and thanks to Park Heights Prophet. Jackie is also thanking there's a lot of people that are going to be thanking Park Heights Prophet, including you and I. Let's see. Where did we go here? Cameron Walker, officially making sure his font is acknowledged and the emoji that goes along with it.
Cameron's been wanting one for a while, so his day has come.
That's awesome. Big O gifted a channel membership. Liv letting us know that Chef got one.
Chef got one.
And Eye of Horus Taurus has one for you.
Oh boy, here we go. Is he trolling me? I haven't even read it yet. Is he already trolling me today? LOL. Hey, Sarah. It was a 38-20 2 weeks ago, that Daniel Jeremiah's live stream where you said you like Stewart even more, a little bit more. LOL. It's all love though, Sarah. You're awesome. I did say I loved him a little bit more. I do remember that because I was so down on him. But let's just remember, I did not say let's take him over Mike Green.
Taurus, clip it. Clip it and email it to us.
I'll fight you, Bobby.
We need to. Hey, I told you yesterday. I didn't think you said anything.
Yeah, but now you're encouraging the trolls is what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
Clip it. Queon says, I hate how ungrateful these NFL players are. Making millions but not satisfied with 21 million is insane. I'll take that instead of the $50,000 I make a year. I think it's all relative, brother. It's a business, man. These guys they understand, right? They have such a a temporary period of revenue opportunity when you're in the National Football League. And a lot of these guys, of course, will have second acts that are exceptional. A lot of them will go on to other careers and have awesome lives. But there's this temporary period where you have to maximize your worth. And so I have a hard time getting on that train.
You know what? I don't fault anybody for their gut reaction to it. You know what I mean? Like what the point you just made, I think is completely fair. And anybody that points that out, I'm fine with it. It's like, not only is their window small, but they're putting their bodies on the line. And some of these dudes like have back issues from 30 years on, you know, instead of like your body falling apart at like 70 or 80 as normal people do. Like, so they are putting their bodies on the line, and they know they have a small window. They know that they could have a season or a career-ending injury at any moment. So I have no problem with that. I also have no problem with somebody like Dreams, who's like, I don't know how much Dreams makes, but something tells me that it's not $21 million in a single year.
He's got it right there.
Yeah. Oh,
50.
Oh, okay. So 50K. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I'll take that instead of the 50K I make every year. And so somebody else that's like, you know, that's more money that I'll ever see in a lifetime. I understand that. And then a third person will come in and say, well, if the players don't get it, then it's going to like the billionaire owners and the billionaire NFL. And so like, I just don't fault anybody's reaction, because I feel like they're all kind of right. You know what I mean? There's nothing wrong in any of it. It's just like, you know, but I'm here for the players making their money, especially for how much they're putting on the line, for sure. But I also don't fault Dreams being like, that's a lot of money.
Thanks for the super chat, brother. Thanks for letting us know what's on your mind. Patrons, Chris and Christopher. Chris Gagnon, Christopher Saxey. Thank you both for believing in what we're building. We appreciate you guys for being a part of the Vault Patreon community. If you guys are interested in doing the same, it's a great group. We appreciate everybody. It goes directly towards our daily efforts. You get a little bit in return as well. It's patreon.com/RavensVault podcast. That link can be found in the show notes. Tomorrow night, looking forward to it, Sarah. Schedule release officially unveiled. We'll figure out the dates and times for all the home and away opponents, all the games, and you and I will be live. We'll have giveaways, Be More Around Town sponsorship. We'll tell you about what they got coming up, which, of course, you know, Brian is always cooking in terms of what they got going on. And I'm going to try and be involved as much as I can this upcoming season. So
Daniel Rodriguez is going to gift one next stream, he says.
Yeah, let's do a quick count here. So D-Rod celebrating 2 months of membership. We appreciate you. And we look forward to that. It is kind of cool, too, how it's all built in, Sarah, and they get the opportunity to drop in a super chat when like their anniversary on a monthly basis happens, which I think is cool. That's part of what when we say that when you sign up for channel membership, there's something in return. That's one of them. You just automatically get the opportunity to drop in a super chat with whatever's on your mind on a monthly basis. So appreciate you, D-Rod. And we have to thank Big O, who gifted 1 membership, Park Heights Prophet, who gifted 10 memberships to 11. Jeez. Mike gifted 1, which is 12 total. Bro Flacco gifted 1, which is 13. Tristan gifted 1, which is 14. And we also had a couple new channel members as well, including Tim Hughes. And that was it. So 12 new channel memberships due to generosity in the form of gift giving, and 1 new channel member. Thank you guys so much.
I have a question for those that are gift giving, because I honestly don't know the answer to this. So Park Heights is probably going to want to know the answer to this. When you gift a membership, so normally when you stand up as a membership, now Park Heights is saying, 5 more, should I do it? I'm sure everybody is like, yeah. Okay, so normally when you sign up for a membership, it's a monthly membership. So YouTube bills you monthly unless you cancel your membership. Does it automatically, Park Heights, bill you every month for all these memberships that you're giving out, or does it go away after a month?
No. It expired. You have to renew it after your month. So Park Heights is not an
automatic. It's not an automatic to your credit card. It bills you monthly unless you cancel.
Park Heights is not on the hook for the foreseeable future. He's on the hook.
Is that only for the gifts, or is that for anybody that signs up for their own membership?
Not a fan's got us covered. He says, when you
Okay.
gift a membership, it expires after a month. The recipient needs to renew him or herself.
What about not a fan? What about when you sign up yourself? Is that automatic? Or do you have to keep re-upping?
When you sign up for yourself, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, but that's recurring.
Okay. I was about to say, because Park Heights putting that in like automatically every month would be a lot.
But obviously, if you don't like it after one,
Oh, he just did it. He just did it.
And Olu became a member. So Olu's a new member. So now we're up to 13. Or excuse me, we're up to 13. All right, hold on.
Well, no, Park Heights alone is 15.
Well, no. There were 12 prior to what he just did. We now have 17. Oh,
right.
Yes. Okay,
yes.
I got you.
Yeah.
Yes. In total today, Park Heights Profit has just now gotten us to 12 gifted memberships. Okay. An absurd number on a random Tuesday. Okay. Olu just became the what? The third channel member today. Mel is on the receiving end. Dre Dog is right on. Dre is correct. There is more than generosity. There's just straight up love that's going on inside this channel today. Really appreciate you guys.
Looks like Carl.
Oh my God, Richard. Richard just went off. Richard says, hey, what you can do, I'm going to do it better or more generous.
Oh my God. He just did 10. So we're up to 27?
This is crazy. I've lost track.
It might be 28. Bobby, heading into the show, we were at 110. So, yeah, we're closing in on 140. Holy cow! People are so generous.
Richard, you got to be kidding me, dude. Thank you so much. I owe him like a box of cigars next time we get together. Olu says, I'm in, trolling for sure. Carl says, I'm eternally thankful to Park Heights.
Yeah.
Mysteriously unnamed has just become a new member. And it's officially an onslaught, Sarah, on this Tuesday. Let's go.
Bro. Here we go. It's moving too fast that I can't even bring him up on the screen. Like, that's how fast the chat is moving.
You keep starring, and I'll keep catching up with super chats and making sure everybody's getting their due, because Olu just dropped another one in. And he writes, I truly enjoy you guys. A safe Raven space, which means the world. Nuruddin just says, hey, thanks, Asmodeus. On the receiving end, which is awesome. So, yeah, 27 have been gifted out so far and counting.
Money bag. I'm in the loop.
Holly is making a comment of what I was sort of discussing yesterday in my Discord group, which was the idea of having a moderator. And she writes, y'all need a mod to help keep track and do the math.
We need a mod for a lot of reasons. Although, I don't know. Like, sometimes mods can take their job a little too serious. You know what I mean?
We got some thinking to do with that, which is why I kind of left it up to conversation. There was a little bit of dialogue yesterday in the server just to see what people would think. Park Heights says, hey, we going bottle for bottle, Richard? A little. May I have this dance?
Gift
Park
off.
Heights
It's a
and
gift
Richard.
off.
David Cool checking in, saying thank you. Everybody showing their love. This is awesome. Thank you, guys. Femi's in the building. What's up, Fem?
Whew.
And Cameron's like,
Yes,
yeah,
Sean's against mods.
We're almost to one. I mean, we got to be closing in on 150. And you guys, needless to say, but at this point, you probably know how. If you click that join button, you too can become a channel member, become more involved with what we're doing here. Let's see if I can go to a live count, Sarah. Not sure if we have to finish the live stream in order for it to populate. Nope, it's been populated. Guess how many we have?
How many do we have? How has it already been populated?
142.
142. Where are you seeing that? It still says 110 for me.
Guys, we are 8 out. I just went into
Studio?
our YouTube studio and into analytics.
On your app, phone app, or on desktop?
I'm on the desktop.
That's why, probably.
But I got to tell you, part of me wants to hang on, see if we can get
So
to
we get to
150 by the end of this show.
Dude, that would be insane.
Anybody want to help
So
us get
Park
there?
Heights is asking for how many until 150? Is it 7?
Well, let
Or
me
8?
refresh. Let
What'd
me
you just say?
refresh. Let me refresh because D-Rod just got us to 7. So let me refresh. A lot of love in here. Dre Dog said it best. There's a lot of love going around. We're now at. Just refresh the page the second time because it was just showing 142. And now it's at 143. So D-Rod got us.
So we're 7 away.
We're 7 away, and we have to keep up with the other super chats too. Tim says, you guys should make some of us regulars into mods. Jax Koa for you, who's celebrating 2 months of channel membership.
He says, awesome seeing this Tuesday love. Keep the stash going, Bobby.
It's probably not making it to graduation weekend, but
Yeah, but you can go back after that. We shaved for mom. That's okay.
Thanks, Jax.
You can go back.
D-Rod was the one that
look
got
at
us.
how much love there's been since the mustache has come.
Oh, you asking me to be superstitious now? I'll do it.
I'm not superstitious, but if that'll help my cause,
I'll do it. Okay. I'll do. Oh my! All right,
we're
there.
over 150. We made it.
We can end the show. D-Rod, just giving everybody their due here. D-Rod showed some love, which got us to 143. Sean Cole says, ain't no mods ever in here. Come on now. Reckless abandon. Deshaun wants to know, how do you gift memberships? If somebody could help him out in the live chat with that. And Sarah, we now have 153 after Park Heights and then 154 with D-Rod just for the extra measure. So Park Heights profit, Sarah, today, if I'm counting correctly, has dropped in over 30
over 30
channel memberships.
And then he just dropped another $5 chat. Park.
So Park Heights gifts another 10. D-Rod gifts 1. Park Heights also makes sure that the milestone is known,
Boom!
like you just said, in 150. And Deshaun is using his 2 months membership celebration to say that it's not showing up for me. I don't know what to tell you, brother. Maybe go on a different desktop, try the mobile device. I don't know. Chris Dixon says, thank you. Sean Coles is gifting. Sarah, if we keep sticking around, I'm going to get motivated to get to 200, but we need.
No, we don't want to put that pressure on Park Heights.
We have things going on. Yeah, we can't. Yeah, we got to make sure that we protect at this point. Park Heights.
At this point, this is like Todd Monken and John Harbaugh protecting Lamar Jackson and taking him out of the fourth quarter. Park Heights, we got to protect your wallet, bro.
Right? It's like what did Danny Gonzalez tell us yesterday about Tyler Loop or last week for what Randy Brown's going to have to do with Tyler? Protect Tyler from Tyler. That's what he said. We got to protect Park Heights from Park Heights.
Yeah.
Sean Coles is gifting multiple memberships. Reginald Swift is throwing us $5 just because. Mike M, you get a gift and you get a gift.
It's the Oprah. Oh, here we go. We're getting some thank yous from those that got it. Weird Beard 82 saying thank you to Park. Park's going to be like the most popular guy in our chat. Could he overcome Tila is the question.
Listen, Park's Heights profit has arrived.
Yes.
Okay. Richard certainly competed with him today. Richard threw some memberships around for sure.
Oops. Man,
it's been awesome.
Fast. Heather McCubbin saying it's been a month for myself. Love the vault. All you guys have been generous in the chat.
Tila, no one, or I beg your finest pardon, Sarah. That's cool, guys. This is super cool. DJ Spectacular says we in there. I don't know why it's so funny. It's so random. It's like we in there. Yes, you are. You are in there now. Yes, sir. Oh man, we gotta
Sometimes
go.
the end of
partner.
my show, sometimes my favorite part of the show is the end of the show because of this stuff, where we just like get to interact with the chat. Where like the beginning we want to get to the content, for those that may not be live, but at the end, like there's nothing like interacting with the chat.
Yeah, I would agree. It's just kind of a nice time for us to let our hair down. Whether it's like Bobby Bachelor, or you sharing what's on your mind from time to time, or just having back and forth fun with the chat.
Yeah.
We got to shout out James. It's his birthday today. So
Happy birthday,
to you,
James.
For sure. The 13th of May. And Park Kite says, look, I can't be here every day, but when I am, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here. Yeah. I think he is here. Man. It's incredible.
What a day. What a day.
And as much as we want to continue this, hold on though. I'm thinking about one, I really want to pull up this GIF right now because it's making me think of the way that Parkite's Profit's acting right now.
I also love how the way all these new members now have access to our emojis and just going off with them. I got to put more in there, by the way. Carl Neff got the Bobby eyes, the love eyes.
Ooh, who are they going to be in love with?
And the Sarah Based eyes.
That's a popular one. Yeah,
my favorite one.
This Steph Curry GIF right here
member.
makes me think of the way that Parkite's Profit's acting today. I'm here. I'm back, baby. That's right.
Let's go.
They continue to come in. Sonia Robinson's become a new channel member. Welcome, Sonia. Welcome. And Dream says we need an all chat live one day. That would be a lot of fun, honestly, in the summer. I have already been pushing us, and I think you're receptive to this, for a call-in show at some point in the dead zone, pre-training camp.
Yeah.
It would also be really fun to literally, essentially brand it as an Ask Us Anything type of stream.
Okay.
I know that's pushing it a little bit for you.
Well, I might not answer everything.
You don't have to.
Okay.
But it would be fun if the chat
Trying
literally
to get into people's business. Okay.
like, it would be a lot of fun for the chat to take over one day while we're still in control of our show.
Wait, say that again?
It'd be fun to do, like what Dreams is saying. Like, essentially, it's a chat takeover, meaning the chat controls the show to a certain extent. You and I still sit in our seats. You and I still operate the show as we usually would.
Sure.
But if it's got to stay within the realm of football, and then maybe the back half of the show is outside of football, I think that might be a little fun for the offseason.
Sure. I'm here for it.
All right.
I just think we get veto power is all.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course you do.
Did you know that my husband and I, when we were naming our kids, speaking of veto power, we were just on two completely different wavelengths when it came to like names that we liked. So we took turns, which was nice that we had 4 kids. So we both got 2 turns. I got to name the first one, and the third child, Gardner, got my maiden name. He's my first son. And luckily he is the embodiment of my side of the family. So it worked. If my second son got that name, it would not have worked. So it worked. Yeah. Trevor named the second and fourth children. However, even though we got to name them, there was veto power. And so I vetoed one name, just one name from my husband. He wanted to name one of our kids Keen.
Kane?
Keen.
K-E-E-N-E?
Something like that. I don't know what the spelling was going to be, but I vetoed that one.
Okay.
So he named Aiden and Ella. I named Gardner and London.
Well, and Gardner, as we've mentioned a couple of times now, you guys are essentially the same person. So not only did you get the name, but you guys have the same body composition and everything.
Yep.
Yvette says, "Hey Bobby, you were sugar sharp in that cigar suit outfit on IG."
Oh, I haven't seen it. Pull it up, Bobby. Pull it up real quick.
I got it right here.
We're off the rails now. We've been off the rails.
So Yvette, thank you first and foremost. Appreciate the love.
Oh,
I will be getting a haircut.
Hard outside right now. My window. Hard.
It's what?
It's raining hard outside.
Yeah, it has
I'm not
been all
going
day in
that.
Baltimore as well. So, for those who don't know, I partnered up with Miguel Wilson Collection, which is a suit design collective spot down in National Harbor, which is just outside DC.
Yeah.
In Maryland. And they customized a couple suits for me. So I will screen share.
Okay.
Go over to my Instagram.
Let's do it.
Can't recommend these guys enough. It was awesome. But yeah, I threw on my influencer hat a little bit here and did one of those come with me, dress with me type things.
We got your shorts into that.
Look at the boy.
Oh, wait, yeah. You had to open the curtains back up.
I know I didn't.
You set yourself up and then nothing.
I know I didn't do it on the way out.
Oh, lost a golden opportunity, but you do look sharp.
There's Miguel, the main man himself.
Oh, Miguel looks pretty sharp himself.
He designs suits for Wes Moore, governor of Maryland. Fun fact.
Yeah, run it back. Hold on, let me see this again. Okay.
Look at him. He looks clean, doesn't he?
Look at those. Ah, look at that. See, now there's just a classic kind of blue suit, right?
Yeah.
It could be good for anywhere. I wish you reopened the curtains, whatever. Oh, I love that one. That one's has a little bit more pizzazz, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
But it's the same pants, right? You only needed one pair of pants and then you can switch the jackets?
Yeah, so it's one suit and then one sport coat.
Oh, that's great.
So it was cool.
And so you made a deal, yeah? And
yeah,
so this is all part of the deal?
This is a marketing deal. Yep.
Oh, I got to set this up for Trevor.
Yeah.
We're setting this up for Trevor.
They're very receptive. They're fans of the show. They're great people. It's in a very cool area that's been built up a lot and developed in National Harbor. So I would highly recommend my guy Miguel and his crew.
And I like the shoes with it, dude.
Yeah. Thank you. The brown wing.
I'm going to show this to Trevor.
Yeah, let me know what he thinks.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks Yvette for noticing that, and thanks to Miguel and his team, including Vino and Mascio down there. I know they've been checking out the show and whatnot. I also met some Baltimore guys the first day that I was in there getting fitted. I met a couple Baltimore guys, and we earned a subscriber based on our conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, appreciate that. Richard is asking what many people have actually DM'd me over since I posted this last night, and that is, do they have a discount code? Basically, where we're at right now is if this partnership goes well and there's good feedback, it's going to continue. Meaning, my hope is that there will be.
Can you expand it into the vault? Is my question, Bobby.
I'm sorry.
Can you expand it into the vault? Is my question.
I'll send this. How about this?
Boys,
I will make a note.
Yeah, you make a note.
I will make a note. How about this? I will make a note to clip. Speaking of clipping this clip right here, this segment, and sending it to them, seeing what they think, and then maybe we'll continue the conversations.
Good. Speaking of clipping, I'm excited to see Taurus's clip to prove me right.
As am I. Thanks, everybody.
I have a new love for Taurus, by the way.
He's the man.
He's like my sons, listen, it's hard to troll me and get under my skin because my sons do it all the time. 2 teenage sons give you tough skin. Chat gives you tough skin. Being on Twitter for all these years gives you tough skin. But I'm too on to. You've seen it live. My son's trolling me. It's nonstop, and it's all love. I know it's all love.
Yeah, they get after you.
That's how they show love. You know,
they get after you for sure.
I get after them a little bit. All right, it's 1:47.
Yeah, we got to go. But thanks to everybody for just a special level of generosity for a Tuesday. Thank you so much. Congratulations to everyone who was on the receiving end of the gift giving. Thank you to everybody who dropped in a bunch of love today. Fun show. There'll be more to come tomorrow, including our 3rd annual schedule release live stream. That's up tomorrow night. We will also have a 12 noon show as usual. And for Sarah Ellison, I'm Bobby Trossett signing off from this Tuesday Ravens Lunch Hour live stream. We started with, I think, 112 or 110 or something like that in terms of official channel Voltrons, and now we are well north of 150 and coasting, Sarah, to 200 and beyond. So appreciate you guys for spending some time with us, and as always, thank you for being a part of this community here inside the Vault. Voltrons, we will catch up with you tomorrow, if not before. We appreciate you for spending some time with us.